Pace with control of this race. Here comes a run from Davey Hazard. He blocks the 10. Not going to be enough. Ryan Pace is going to win at Talladega.
Trying to hold off Wilson. He's done a good job so far. Wilson, one last desperate attempt to the bottom. He won't get there. Nick Curry wins at Bristol.
Coming out turn number 2, coming down the back straightaway here. Looks like he's in a class of his own right now.
Merzlak, one final time, get around the 55, big time send.
He hits the wall, he hits it, he gets the lead, but can he hang on to it? Oh my goodness, he made it to the line!
Big push down the backstretch is going to give him a good run through the corners.
Just a little bit
follow from the 1.
A little bit of contact there for second, but coming to the line, Toby Roberson's going to take home the checkered flag and victory here from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of the HOBO Racing AERO88 series live from the Richmond Raceway here in Richmond, Virginia. So glad you're joining us here on December the 18th of 2022. As always, I'm your host, Joe Twansky, and we are here with JTN's coverage of the HOBO Racing League. Again, so glad you're joining us here for tonight's 120 lap event around this 3/4 of a mile short track here in the capital of the state of Virginia, Richmond. 70-degree weather, nice and clear. It's just as simple as that, folks. It's me flying solo up here in the booth tonight. Last time we were with HOBO Racing AERO88 action, it came from Talladega, and we saw a thriller of a race there. Tonight, we're going to be looking at more of the same, that a post-Thanksgiving event. This a pre-Christmas event for the boys at HOBO Racing. So with that, Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays to all the folks out there. I believe Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah started today, I do believe. And just a happy holidays to everyone. Hope you're having a get ready to get into the spirit of the holidays, and hope you're able to share these next couple weeks with those that are close to you. See Magoo in chat. Welcome in, Magoo. Hope you're having a good evening. Remember, folks, say hello as you start joining our stream here tonight. And again, we're going to be racing in moments. Qualifying currently underway. You'll see those results at the top of your screen. Remember, it's fixed setup here with the AERO88 series. We're going to be looking at about 60 laps on fuel tonight. Heard drivers talking about the cars being a little sluggish on corner exit. Don't know how that's going to play into how aggressive they're going to be on corner entry. I guess we'll just have to wait and see as the night goes on. But can likely do this race on 1, maybe 2 stops, depending on how you manage these tires here this evening. This is the default version of the Richmond Raceway for the folks at home that are maybe a more fluent with NR 2003. And again, we're going to see a great one here this evening. Remember, folks, we're streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/@JoeTowNetwork. We're also on Twitch now, twitch.tv/JoeTowNetwork. You can also follow us on our social media at JoeTowNetwork on Twitter, on Facebook, JoeTowNetwork, as well as on TikTok, where we occasionally post stuff, but we have not been good at doing that as of late. We're going to have more racing action for you throughout the rest of the week. TMP Super Cup Series action from DuQuoin tomorrow night at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. So right back here on YouTube as the cars now rolling out for happy hour practice. Means I have the opportunity to read you folks at home tonight's starting lineup. So as I get that ready to go, again, make sure you set yourself a reminder for tomorrow night's stream at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Back here, same place, same time, right here on the JoeTow Network. Rolling off on the pole tonight at a time of 22.438 seconds. It's going to be the 41 of Josh Boyer. To his outside, it'll be the 31 of Jeff Stekenis at a time of 22.544 seconds, so a whole tenth of a second back for second place. Steve Rubino in the 07 going to roll off in third, with Steve Grant in the 11 to his outside in fourth. Row 3, positions 5 and 6 comprise of the 9 of Jeff Fugate and the 73 of Herman Reese. Rich Knappick in the 6th and Ricky Bumbolo in the 85 going to roll off on row number 4. Rounding out your top 10 and 9th is going to be the 44 of Dan Rubino and the 124 of Rick Castle. Rolling off on row number 6, it'll be the 25 of Ron Simpson and the 14 of DJ Hinsky. Row 7 in the 13th position is going to be the 78 of Ryan Johnson and 14th to 740 of Michael Moore. Bill Lacasse going to roll off in position number 50 in his 48 car here tonight, with Rod Weston rolling off in 16th. 17th going to be the 00 of Gary Jackson. 18th going to be Mopar in the 24, and Frank Bomb hit the 27, going to roll off shotgun on the field tonight. So strong field of 19 here this evening. Bringing you action from the action track here in Richmond. It's our pole sitter, Josh Boyer. Dad's root beer on that Ford Thunderbird this evening. Welcome in, Mark. Jeff Zakenis there in the 31. Got NVIDIA and GeForce FX AMD graphics card programs. I'm not too fluent to that. Tarman Racing a 73 Cadillac. Gonna be hoping that that thing drives like a Cadillac here this evening. Nice and smooth for driver 73. Jay Henske, another one of our 2 Mopar branded cars here this evening. This is the 14. There's fan favorite Bino in the 44, his Thunderbird. Got HOBO Racing on the side of that car. See the 740 Michael Moore 7-Up machine. Nice looking green flames on the black base of that race car. That Chevrolet there. There's Phil Lacasse in the it's the Fighting Blindness Chevrolet. Duke Engineering out of Flint, Michigan on the side of the 27 tonight. Rainbow Warrior for Mopar in the 24 here this evening. DuPont colors on that car. And here's Ricky Bumbolo and is a custom Gas Monkey Garage Chevrolet 85. Our Castle, good looking purple and yellow number 124 Crown Royal Chevrolet. Ryan Johnson has Bass Pro Shops and Cracker Barrel on the side of his 78. Maybe just Cracker Barrel. I can't read. It's just Cracker Barrel. Orange, I think, tripped me up a little bit. I think that's all that we got out here right now. Oh, there's the 11 of Steve Grant, Team Speedland. It is just me tonight, Mark. It is just me up in the booth. Got Bristol with me, so we'll be good. We still got the producer and stuff, but flying solo here this evening. Wanted to give all of the boys a night off. Welcome in, Ann. Wishing everyone as well. Us here at JTM, we're wishing everyone a very happy holiday season to you. Hopefully, it's a time of relaxation, a time of getting back together with family. I think that's the biggest thing around the holidays for a lot of folks. Mark, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's not unfortunate. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Got this in the bag. The boys here at HOBO always do a good job too of giving us some good racing, so it's gonna make the job nice and easy. You don't have to worry about talking over anyone here tonight because, well, Bristol doesn't have a microphone, and well, I'm the only one with a microphone. Very off season. I am not Chase Elliott. Car's gonna be lined up here on the end of pit road. We wait the command to get these 19 beauties fired here tonight from Richmond.
drivers, start your engines!
As we get fired up and ready to go, it's going to be a fun one here tonight from Richmond. Josh Boyer rolling off on the pole. Jeff Stukanis, who is outside in the number 31. Row 2, Steve Rubino in the 07. Lipton Ice-T on that Chevrolet. With the 11 is Steve Grant. Fugate in the 9 and Herman Reese in the 73 going to make up row number 3. Row 4 going to be 85 of Ricky Bumbalo in the 6 of Rich Napick. And rounding out your top 10 tonight, Dan Rubino in the 44 and the 124 of Rick Castle. Field makes their way into turns number 3 and 4 for the final time before we go racing here again, folks. So glad you're joining us. Fans on their feet here at the track. Hope you're on yours at home as well, as Josh Boyer going to lead us to green here from Richmond. Down and away we go. Green flag. We're underway here from the Richmond International Raceway. You see top 3 trying to single out here. Steve Rubino still to the inside, facing the challenge from Steve Grant. Grant going to drop to the bottom there. Top 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all single file now. Napick has a moment there, hitting the apron off of turn number 4. Further on back, Michael Moore in the 740 to the inside of DJ Hinsky. This the battle for what looks to be the 12th position on track right now. That 740 going to be able to clear the 14. Big dive down into the corner. Will complete that pass and hit the wall there off the corner. Back up front, though, it's Josh Boyer's dad's root beer machine out in front and leading the way. That Ford looking good in the wind. You got Jeff Stukanis there in second in the 31. Silver and green colors on that. Race cars were have our first caution of the night. Phil Lacasse, DJ Hinsky, Frank Baum, all around here off of turn number 4. Looks like Hinsky's gonna get loose by himself here through turn 3, trying to save that car, and unfortunately there's a wall there. And the 48 runs into the back of him. 27 runs into the back of the 48. Both those cars know where really they could go. On board with Phil. He's probably gonna hate me for this, but you know. Go on board with the 48. Yeah, just at one of those points, I think hard to course correct. So 3 cars involved in this first incident: 48, 27, and 14. Penske definitely with the most damage. 14 car is right now, he's at the end of pit lane. Stopped and has retired. Mark, it's a good point. You know, you can there's dual strategies tonight for a lot of these drivers. I think some of them you're going to see take the approach of try to be easy early, save the tires, keep those good years underneath you. You want to make sure you have them for the end of this race. You're also going to see some guys that maybe are starting towards the back half of the field. They're going to push early. We already saw a couple takers on pit row. Looks like 00, 24, 19. The 48's going to come this time. You're just at a point where you're trying to figure out what strategy works best for you. If you're one of those guys towards the back, you probably want to try to come up and grab some track position. If you're one of the guys towards the front, you're maybe a little more willing to save the tires and set the pace for the field. I was interested to see Josh Boyer take off in this 41 car. Stukanis did the same, so did Steve Rubino. They all took off guns a-blazing there at the start. Pedals blazing, maybe. We didn't get into that run long enough to where we could see if they would have maybe tried to set the pace a little bit slower, try to ease the field back a little bit. But that's kind of what you're looking at. When you're the leader, you get to dictate the pace of the race. And if you're Josh Boyer right now, you want to do a good job of making that happen in your best interest. And when you're one of those guys further back, you got to take advantage of that pace that the leader's dictating, and try to make up some of these spots when the cars are bunched up together on a restart or at the initial start of the race, or again on this restart we're going to be getting in a couple laps here. Welcome in, Barbara. Hope you're having a good one. Welcome in, everyone. That was a good joke in chat too, Mark. I appreciate that. I don't want to take your material though. But again, folks, we're so glad you're joining us here tonight. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, be a friend, tell a friend about our streams. I know we always get a lot of support for these Hobo Racing events, so we can't thank you folks at home enough, can't thank the folks at Hobo Racing enough for putting on some great races for us. Steve and Dan and the entire admin team always do a fantastic job here. Always get to see some really good races when we get the privilege of broadcasting these events for Hobo Racing. So we again are so thankful for you folks tuning in at home. I know all these drivers, thankful for you folks tuning in at home as well, letting them showcase their skills. As Josh Boyer going to be leading us back to green, Jeff Sekenis there in second, Steve Rubino, Steve Grant, and Jeff Fugate, your top 5. Welcome in, Larry. And the key, Magoo, is to smash the like button. That is the key. That's what all the I've heard the YouTubers say my entire life growing up. Josh Boyer with control, looking to smash the gas. There we go. Green flag back underway, and Boyer, a good jump on that restart. Already about 4 car lengths clear down into turn 1. Sekenis there in second. Steve Rubino third. Let's try to see if we can't find anyone trying to make a pass already. Everyone's staying nice and easy right now. Single file here down the back straightaway. Boyer still your leader at the front of the field. Sekenis there in second. A little slip up from the 07 as Steve Rubino's going to have Steve Grant to make this a Steve and Steve show for the second position as we head down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Everyone taking a high arching approach to these corners right now early in this run. See how that starts to play out as the race goes on. You see the 78, Ryan Johnson, to the inside of the 740, Michael Moore. With that bright red 78 car up a spot, move the 740 back one. Rubino able to kind of catch back, or gather things back up. You see Fugate starting to apply some pressure to Steve Grant. Herman Reese starting to apply some pressure to Fugate in the 9. Everyone taking it nice and easy right now. Not seeing anyone pushing the issue. You're starting to see these cars become a little unstable. Just a little bit. You see a little smudge of the car starting to slip and slide around this Richmond Raceway. Okay, really able to close the gap there on the 11 now. Top 3 still staying pretty static, so we're going to keep our eyes on this battle for 4th between the number 9 and number 11 cars. That's Steve Grant in the number 11, Jeff Fugate in the number 9. So keep an eye on Herman Reese there in the 73. It's always a car to watch out for on one of these shorter tracks. And car again trying to get something going. Steve Grant trying to catch Steve Rubino up in front. Currently runs 3rd. I'm back, got some side-by-side action. 740 of Moore getting back by Johnson in the 78. Harry Jackson now to the inside of that 78. Ryan Johnson going to lose 2, maybe 3 spots as Rod Weston now to the inside. Down the front straightaway, moves his Dodge up a spot. Ryan Johnson, disastrous lap. Rod Simpson going on by the 124 Rick Castle. Take that spot. Back up here, though. This battle for fourth continues to stay nice and close here at the front of the field, inside the top 5. All right, Johnson making a move back to the inside. Gary Jackson now losing some spots here. Also passed up by Rod Weston. Going to be some contact. 00 into the outside wall. He collects it. But if you're Gary Jackson right now in this 00 Chevrolet, you are none too pleased with the driver of the 780. You mark that one down. Short track race, and you can't let the temper get away from you early. But man, oh man, you put a little tally mark on the dashboard if you got a pen with you. Rod Weston able to make a pass there on Michael Moore. Nice and clean through turns 3 and 4. At 19, car starting to climb up. He was one of those drivers that pit under that first caution of the night. As you see this 9 car of Fugate continuing to try to close the gap and find a way to get to the inside. I have a feeling by night's end we're going to hear that passing was a difficult task for these drivers, and right now it's proving difficult for driver number 9 to find a way around driver number 11. Don't know if that's just an indicator of the speed between the two cars, but seems like they've both been pretty even here. Josh Boyer, though, has continued to build his lead in this 41 car. Blue and yellow with red accents on the dad's root beer Ford. Has kept the lead pretty consistent here as we head down the back straightaway, working lap 21. Again, we go back to this battle for fourth. See, Rubino has been able to pull away from the rest of the top 5 as well in this 07 Lipton car. That Chevy Lumina red and yellow. White numbers on the door. Herman Reese gets to the inside of Jeff Fugate, makes a pass for position there. And we missed it, of course, because that was the time we decided to get away from the battle. So that's about how broadcasting works, folks. Wonder if that was the case where the 9 car was way up the track. So I wonder if Fugate had just let him on by. No, Herman, always one of those drivers that's pretty good about saving the stuff. And one retiree out of this race so far, the 14 of DJ Henske. They're getting loose there in turns 3 and 4, hit the end of the pit wall, and just too much damage on that car to continue here tonight. So 18 cars remain. Back, you got Rod Weston looking to the inside of Michael Moore for a spot. Wasn't able to get anything going that time. Here, Dan Rubino, Ricky Bumbalo, Rich Knappick all together. This is for Bumbalo right now, that lead car in the 7th position. Rubino trying to find a way on by, looking to the inside here down the back straightaway. He's got the nose there down into turn number 3. Here comes Bino looking for the pass, looking to move up into the 7th spot. Drives that 85 up the track and gets the position. Move Dan Rubino up into the 7th place. Bumbalo now going to face a challenge from Rich Knappick. That 6 car starting to close the gap. You see that 85 running really low there, trying to keep those left sides down on the yellow line. It's a little bit different when approached than some of these other guys. You see the 6 also running a similar line. The 44 up the track, maybe about a third of a car length. Car width, rather. Third of a car length would be a lot. So we go back to Herman Reese trying to find a way around Steve Grant in the number 11. Steve in that car getting a little loosey-goosey off of turn number 2. That allows Herman Reese to take a look to the inside down the back straightaway and complete the pass here off of turn number 4. So move Herman Reese up into 4th. Jeff Fugate going to go by the 11 as well. And the 9 moves to 5th. The 11 loses 2 spots en route back to the 6th position. Steve Rubino starting to close in a little bit on Jeff Stekenis in the 31. This gap's starting to close as Josh Boyer is starting to pull away from these guys. Later in the 41. There you see Boyer. And things have stabilized here. And into the part of the run where you're wanting to probably race the track a little bit more than you want to race your fellow competitors. Josh Boyer maintains the lead. Well, folks, again, it is the holiday season. Would like to remind you we got some great gift options. They won't arrive for Christmas gifts, but JTN merch always makes a great gift any time of the year. You can head on over now to the JTN merch store, pick yourself up some JTN logo merch. We also have beanies available now to keep your noggin nice and warm here in the winter months. It gets chilly. Why not get a nice knit hat for yourself or a loved one with a beautifully embroidered JTN logo on it? Again, available now on the JTN merch store, JTN logo merch. Rubino continuing to try to close the gap to Jeff Stekenis here in second. Quarter of the way, just over a quarter of the way through this race. Guys, they're getting slower, folks. They're getting slower. 27 looks like he is retired. Could be wrong. Yeah, Frank Bauman, the 27, has retired. Duke Engineering Chevrolet out of this race. Phil Cass has also pulled the 48 behind the wall. Josh Boyer grows this lead. Steve Rubino, though, is there looking for the second position. Going to dive to the inside of Jeff Stekenis here through turns 3 and 4. Going to complete that pass. Move Rubino up into spot number 2 in that 07 Chevrolet. See Herman Reese there in the 73 also looking to make a move. Goes to the bottom of the 31. And going to get a good drive off there, and we'll complete the pass. Now clear down the front straightaway and sets his sights on Rubino for the second position. So Jeff Stekenis has fallen back to 4th here in 2 laps from his starting second position. A good little run there. Ryan Johnson has gone a lap down in the number 78. You see Josh Boyer has gotten by him. Boyer still your leader here this evening in the 41. Rubino currently sits 3rd. The 07 has actually done a good job of getting away from the 73. Looked like Herman Reese was going to be able to close the gap to the 07. Not the case, though. Rubino laying down some fast laps right now in this Lipton Chevrolet. Further back, Dan Rubino, he is up into the 6th position, has gotten around Ron Simpson in the 25. So the Rubino brothers doing really good right now. Both climbing their way up the scoring pylon tonight. Dan, I believe, started back in the 9th or 10th position back there on row number 5. Steve started 3rd, up into 2nd now. Welcome back, Mark. These leaders trying to go by that lap traffic in the 78 of Ryan Johnson. 78 car struggling a little bit right now. By screaming for tires. Dan Rubino up to 7th. I misspoke. Up into 7th still. So Josh Boyer is your leader, working lap 45 of 120. We're closing in on halfway, closing in on pit stops as well, folks. Remember, we got some more great racing action coming up for you later on this week. First, it's the TMP Super Cup Series from DuQuoin. Coverage beginning tomorrow night, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on JTN. Going to be going dirt track racing with TMP. FTR Winter Spectacular Christmas holiday event. Don't know if that's going to be something on Tuesday. It might not. Keep your eyes peeled on our social media at JoeTowNetwork, Twitter, and Facebook to get updates on that. If not, we'll have a special surprise for you coming this week as well, as promised, for the holiday. And then the ASRA National Championship IndyCar Racing from New Hampshire, December 26th. Yeah, all those races, much more live right here, only on JTN, and of course presented by our friends at TWB Technologies, because as always, folks, together, we're better. Josh Boyer still out in front of this field. Putting a shellacking on them right now. Has led every single lap. Steve Rubino there in 2nd. Herman Reese 3rd. Jeff Stekenis and Steve Grant, your top 5. There's 11 cars back up on to our one hand. Be able to show his position with one hand. That was the most awkward way I could have ever said anything like that, folks. Ahead. I'm gonna try to see if we can't do something real quick here. All right, folks, so we got a special treat here after dropping out of this race early after making some contact with the driver of the number 14. It is the driver of the number 48 here this evening. You know him, you love him. He was the voice of countless NR 2003 leagues here in the past and has since moved on to better things like watching pro wrestling and sports. Driver of the number 48 this evening, Mr. Phil Lacasse. Phil, welcome into a JTN booth. I know I know you're in a different chair tonight. I'm in the chair that you would usually sit in, but welcome in nonetheless.
Well, Joe, thanks for that introduction. It gave me way more credit than I ever deserved doing this. But yeah, it's cool to be here, and I see you were by yourself, and I've been on the other end of this thing more than enough times, and know what having the single voice is kind of like. So, and I give you all the credit in the world running the controls and doing this by yourself. I said, nah, what better way to give back to the HOBO Racing League, which is now my home league, than dust off the air pipes and come hang out with my buddy Joe and call some laps. So here we are, buddy.
The funniest bit of advice that I ever got from Phil from when I started this, and I'm gonna give out this advice, Phil. So I'm sorry I'm giving your advice out for free. I know I had to pay a fortune for it. Eventually, this would kind of get awkward. It would get weird. It would get kind of maybe stale would be the right word to use. At times it has, but I think you're proving it tonight that it's hard to stay away from the broadcasting stuff once you get that little bit of an itch.
Yeah, no. I mean, I love sitting back and watching what you guys got going on. And to be completely honest, when I went away from broadcasting and racing in general, I mean, I literally didn't think or pay no mind to nothing for a good 18 months. So, I mean, just coming back and getting the itch to drive and wanting to race. I shouldn't be at this point in my life, but, you know, I got the itch to do it and come back a few months ago and been having a good time doing it. And you get the benefit of having guys like you who took the torch and ran with it with us, and we appreciate what you're doing for the community now. It looks as good as it ever could, and a lot better than anything I think I've ever been associated with. So it's cool, and you know, you and I have been friends for a while. And when I left the kingdom, I said, Joe, you're the guy I want to have it, and it's neat to come and sit alongside and do a few laps with you. So pretty neat. It's full circle. Do I itch for it? No. my former partners are trying to talk me in, because I know they're starting to get the itch to do some more stuff in the iRacing thing, and I don't know if that's going to work for them or not, but they're trying to talk me back in. I'm sorry to tell them it's not going to happen, but to come play with you, I mean, this is okay for a little while.
And I think probably they're going to clip that little bit right there, you know what I mean? I think we'll clip it, we'll send it their way so they get the verbal answer, right? But saw the pass there, Steve Grant getting by Stakenis in the 31, moves that 11 car up into the 4th position. You talked about HOBO Racing and kind of coming back, making it your home league now after the time away. 18 months, I did not realize it was that long. Time away and then time coming back. Obviously, a lot of the same faces that you've raced with have seen around the community. You know, the faces don't necessarily change. The colors of the cars do. The numbers do. Coming back to something that's familiar, but also something that's evolved in your time away. How? What are kind of the feelings associated with that?
It's kind of like I never left it. I mean, so some of the names have come and gone, but a lot of the names that we're familiar with are still here. Getting to know some different guys that have raced over here now, Hobo. Now that I've been here, you know, some different names and blood, which is always good. But then you got the veterans, you know, the ones that have been here, the Herman Reeses and the Stakenis and the Fugates, and of course the Rubinos and Rich Knappick. I mean, those guys, Josh Boyer, they've all been here a long time. So it was kind of like a familiar thing, having the relationship what I did as a broadcaster with Hobo and getting to know these guys for years and knowing how good the product of racing was. What I didn't understand coming over here doing this as a driver, boy, these guys are good. I am way out of my league.
See Josh Boyer, first of our leaders, coming down pit lane here. Lap 63, splitting this race in half. Steve Rubino's still out there on track, as well as Herman Reese. Also saw Ron Simpson had already got by these guys pretty quick, so that shows you the advantage that new tires have. Experience out there on the track tonight. I mean, it seems like these drivers, they look very comfortable here this evening. That's something that we don't always see with these AERO88 cars. A little less downforce, a little more loosey-goosey, as I like to say, on the corner exit. How comfortable was it behind the wheel tonight of your 48 Chevrolet?
You know, I was having a different sensation. These guys are, obviously. I was way off. But everybody's saying it's a set that if you overdrive it, it's really going to punish the car and you're really going to hurt your tires. So I think you're seeing these guys slow down. Maybe not necessarily by design. I think the racetrack is certainly playing into that. Richmond's especially the original version of the track we're running, was always notorious for using up tires and whatnot. So I think you're seeing a natural progression of the lap times coming down. But as far as how these things are handling, this setup seemed very, very snug. These guys seem to be enjoying it, putting up some really competitive and close lap times. It was pretty even. I mean, I don't know what you've seen from the booth, but I think Boyer's had this place pretty much figured out.
Oh, he's had this place absolutely figured out, but unfortunately for him and the guys that already came down pit lane, caution out for the second time tonight. We try to figure out what it was for. This is the best part of the job, because it looks like it's going to be the 740 around in turns. Can't tell what turn that is. Looks like turn 3. Going to be some contact with Rod Weston. Let's get you the replay at home. There you see it, 740, 19, both hard down into the corner. Looks like the 19 might have come up. We'll go helicopter next here.
Almost like he didn't turn.
He just... Yeah? Let's see. I think he just threw it in there. Come on, Phil. We can't throw those accusations out there.
No, I'm not saying he didn't turn it. It's almost looked like he just got down on the corner a little hot, and it just didn't want to. And which I've been on the other end of tonight. I go down to the corner, hit the brakes, and I think we're just straight. So I've experienced a lot of that tonight. That could be a little bit what happened there, especially on the fresh tires.
Well, that difference in sensation of speed, right? For these guys that have already come down pit lane, they got their 4 freshies underneath them. They have, yeah, you feel like Superman on the new tires after you're running on those old ones there for a couple laps. So maybe just one of those instances, a little too aggressive down into the corner, trying to get by a guy that was maybe running a little bit slower. But nonetheless, it's our second caution of the night. It groups this field back up. Herman Reese gonna be the bigot, gonna take a hold of this race. It really feels like in the 73 car. Gonna be your leader when we go back green, I do believe. See how things cycled through, but was the leader when the caution came out. Still had not pit. Steve Grant is going to be there in second as well, so both those drivers benefiting from that caution coming out mid-cycle. The drivers that don't, though, of course, Josh Boyer in the 41 dominant car looks like he's going to get the lucky dog here, so he will come down and get 4 fresh tires and get on even footing with the leaders. But Steve Rubino in the 07, Jeff Stakenis in the 31, the 44, Dan Rubino, 85, Ricky Bumbalo. Some of these guys here at the front of the field that we've seen up inside the top 10 tonight. Going to have a couple lap older tires. Also going to, have the worst track position. Something they're going to have to navigate here if this race does play out green to the finish, which is high likelihood at this point. We've had a caution in our first 10 laps. Now we've had a caution in our first 10 laps after the halfway point. So if the trends hold, should be going green to the end of this thing.
I would think that's a really good idea. I think we may go green, but I think you said 41 Boyer, the lucky dog. I think that's accurate. That's going to put maybe arguably the fastest car in Richmond tonight back in the lead lap. And for guys like for Herman and for Reese and the rest of the group on the lead lap, they may want to look in the mirror. That 41 is going to be looming large.
Well, and we talk about it a lot too. Just the difference, when you're the leader, people get out of your way a little bit more. They give you a little extra room. Now, when you're the 6th, 7th place car, they don't really do the same. They don't have the same. They don't give you the same room to say it. Respect isn't the right word, but I think you can catch my drift in terms of the connotation I'm going for. But when you're trying to pass these guys for position rather than get around them or kind of be the leader and navigate your way through traffic in the form of lapped cars, it's a little bit different, and Blair hasn't had to deal with that yet tonight as our pole sitter. That's obviously the big advantage of being on pole on one of these races where it's tough to pass, is you get the best track position to start the night, and now has lost it with the caution coming out mid-pit cycle. Going back green next time by, Herman Reese going to have control in the 73. That Cadillac looking good now. Herman doing his traditional methodical pace, driving up through the field, saving the equipment underneath them. Steve Grant there in second. Rick Castle going to be third in the 124. Indeed. Mopar going to line up in 4th, and Rich Napick going to round out your top 5 in the number 6. Going to put Josh Boyer all the way back into the 8th position here for the restart, so 7 cars to pass if he wants to get back to where he was when that cycle started. Pace car comes down, Herman Reese with control. And folks, here we go. No, haha, gotcha. Gentlemen, restart. They always get me, Phil. They always get me.
No, I can tell you, I can explain what's happening here, Joe. A little bit of insider knowledge here to being a driver in this league. I believe what happened is you probably have 4 or 5 wave around cars.
Yeah, give the admins time to clear the black flags.
Give the admins, exactly. Give them a chance to not mess up anybody else's race around them, trying to clear the black flags, which these guys are really quick at doing so anyways in a good night. So I think they're being extra safe, just letting everybody get their P's and Q's, get the flags all cleared up, everybody get a rack, re-racked, restacked, and I think this time by you'll see them go to what we would call the green flag, which they've really been out for a lap already, just kind of pacing.
What would I do without you, Phil? What would I do without you?
I don't know. Probably a lot better than I'm doing, that's for sure.
There we go. Green flag back underway. Herman Reese leads him back down. Good jump from the driver of the number 73. Steve Grant already going to be 2.5 car lengths back down there into turn number 1. Castle there in 3rd. Mopar, Rich Napick Ryan Johnson trying to find a way around Gary Jackson in the 0-0. We saw a little contact earlier with that 0-0 car into the outside wall. Michael Moore up the track. Know that there's probably no love lost there between drivers 7, 40, and 19 after that second caution. And oh, looky there. There's Josh Boyer in the 41 right behind Rod Weston in the 19.
Just methodically creeping his way forward, that 41 is going to be. And I think you'll see guys, the tires get warm. They'll start sliding up the racetrack a little bit. You get to open the door for likes of the 41. The thing I want to pay attention to here, Joe, is these guys who did take the wave around did not get the pit. They pitted there under green and lost that lap. They're going to have older tires, say 6, 7 laps or so. And at Richmond, that's going to be a really, really big deal, as you know. I'm curious to know if these guys are going to want to see a quick yellow right away to get reset on the same tire sequence as the guys that are running up front.
We saw some of those guys really successful at getting faster throughout the run. So maybe those are your drivers that are okay, but you make I think that's the point, hit the nail on the head there, right? Fresh tires mean so much. Herman Race right now has the freshest and the best track position combo at the front of the field. So when you're that 73 car, you're feeling really good. When you're maybe the 07 that took a wave around that was running in second when we started that pit cycle, you're Steve Rubino in that 07 car, you're not feeling as good, right? You've lost all your track position, and guess what? The 8 cars in front of you, they all have fresher tires. So it's double whammy. It's double whammy.
It really is. And for Steve in the 07, he's been coming back from being really sick. I think him and the family had COVID. So, I mean, he's still kind of lingering and regaining his stamina. So, at a place like Richmond, you're on and off the brakes, maneuvering and massaging the gas pedal on and off that all night long. Steve, he's a hell of a race car driver. I'll tell you what, guy really, really top shelf. And, I'm really curious to see how these guys on these old tires are going to fare. You say they were going faster as the run went on. I didn't get that in my car at all. But I guess that's why I'm sitting here with you and not out there making laps of this 3/4 mile.
Well, I'm probably embellishing a little bit. They were maintaining their pace a little bit better than everyone else. They were faster by comparison. How about that?
All right, I'll go with that.
Okay. Oh, gonna be some contact with Ricky Bumblelow. 85, big save. Gonna hook it back left into Ron Simpson. Caution gonna come out, wreck down the back straightaway. 85, 25, 31 might have also been involved, but there's the caution that those drivers towards the back of the field were looking for, Phil.
It was. Unfortunately, I might have caught a couple of those guys that were hoping to get repacked on that sequence, and I want to see the replay myself. What the heck did happen there?
Well, see, this is what happened. You might have forgot about this. Again, 18 months or whatever. But commentator James talking about how good of a race car driver Steve is. A little bit of contact with Buffalo there off the corner. Gets the 85 loosey-goosey. Ricky looked like he saved it, but then corrects it back to the right, and from there, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that stinks too. Who else did he catch that? Ron Simpson with 25. God, Ron lately, if there's a guy who's had no luck at 25 car, just this season, it's either been up front or it's been tore up. And as a race car driver yourself, Joe, when you get that run of bad luck like that, you never get out of the way. I feel bad for poor Ron. He was having a decent run going.
Well, it's really easy to get down on yourself, right? Well, I got involved in this wreck. The stat sheet's going to say that you got involved in it. It wasn't your fault, right? And I think that's the hardest part to come to grips with is when, we write down that, car number 25 is involved in the caution 3 of this Richmond race. It's not of his own doing, right? Just helpless bystander at that point was Ron Simpson in the 25.
I think you saw similar or something that with myself on the first yellow flag of the race.
No, we went on board with you. You Phil, you drove right into the 14. I can't excuse that, man. That was...
Oh, okay. I don't put that past myself recently. I really don't. All I know is I saw smoke, and I was in the smoke, and then there was a car in the smoke with me. Maybe I'm safer up here.
I gotta give you a little bit of crap, I still remember, and I go back to it sometimes because it gives me a little fuel. First interaction that I had with you during one of these broadcasts, it was like a fast race at Homestead, and I think I got loose going down into turn 1 in the opening laps, and you guys over at FERN, you dragged me up in the booth. Joe, what happened? Caused the first caution? I was quick to say no, I didn't. So,
Well, I love it. I love it. And I'm sure I've been on the wrong end of that with a bunch of guys over the years. So They probably why they don't give me any room out there when I'm slow. It's like, you suck and you buried us for so long.
Phil, the problem is you weren't wrong. Like, me getting loose and being, halfway sideways was definitely the cause of the caution. But guess what? Race car driver Joe said, nuh-uh, ain't my fault.
There's a reason that guys like you and I end up doing things like this.
I think they don't like our personality during the races, Get a little sick of it.
I get it. I do. I'm just hoping that I'm giving you some comedic relief to get through this one, and filling in for Weaver and for Ricky and the gang you have over here at JTN. Great guys. You guys do an awesome job, and it's just cool to come sit here and see what it's all about.
Barbara in chat asks, what happened? Steve Rubino gets a little bit close to Ricky Bumbleho. 85 car gets loose off of turn number 2, down towards the apron, tries to correct it, overcorrects back to the right, makes contact with 25 of Ron Simpson. 85-25 involved in that one. I believe... Didn't see Steve pit. So I think we're just going to go with incidental contact there. So no harm to the 07. A little bit of damage to the 85, a little bit of damage to the 25. But I think we're all going to be okay here for the restart coming to lap 85 of 120. There will be, if I do quick maths, 36 laps to go when we get the green flag.
Well, I'll go with the theory of sometimes in your racing things happen. Contact happens. Or the short track. You'd expect nothing less than contact.
Oh, yeah. No, I just, I gotta... Phil, you know it better than anyone. Danged if you do, danged if you don't, right? Like, Herman Reese leading us back to green in the 73. How's he going to do here?
I think he's going to hit the gas pedal on the right side. He's going to hit it hard, and he's going to drive this thing as deep into the first turn as he could possibly go.
Good restart there from second place Steve Grant, able to hold closer to the back bumper of that 73. Herman Reese, though, good drive off of turn number 2. About a car length and a half, let's call it, down the back straightaway. Still single file here. Obviously have to be single file through the first set of corners at Hobo, so everyone minding their P's and Q's right now as we head back down the front straightaway.
Yeah, they're doing a good job so far. Still nose to tail, single file down into 1 and 2. Reese going to lead the way. Grant, Napick, Boyer, Steve Rubino in there for 5th. Weston was going to take a peek. He may have Rick Cass all over him, and he's got a hungry group. Mopar, Fugate, Jackson, all top 10. They're all thrown under a blanket. 6-2-10 off the 2, Joe.
Bill makes their way back down the front straightaway. Herman Reese running away with it, but here comes Josh Boyer to the inside of Rich Napick for the 3rd position. 41, blue and yellow with a little bit of red on the side to the inside of the 6. That's a black and orange Chevrolet on the outside. Ford on the bottom. Ford versus Chevrolet. Give that battle to the Ford. Thunderbird of Boyer up into 3rd, and here comes Steve Rubino in the 07 Lumina to the inside of that 6 of Rich Napick.
And he found the open room on the low side, did that number 07. He's going to take the 4th spot. Thought a little bit of it to maybe stay on the low side to take a shot at Boyer in the 41. Meanwhile, up high, Napick's going to continue to lose a spot. There goes Rod Weston to the 19. He's to the low side. That's a wheel-to-wheel battle now. Give it to the 19. I believe that's for 6 there out of 4.
Weston threw a donut into the cockpit of the number 6 of Napick down the back straightaway. Here comes Castle now to the bottom of the 6. 124 also going to take a spot. So Rich Napick loses 4 positions there in the span of, call it 3 or 4 laps. That 6 Harley-Davidson Chevrolet falling back here at the front of the field, though. It's still Herman Reese leading the way. Steve Grant there in 2nd, and Josh Boyer now back onto the podium in 3rd.
And Boyer is there looming. Great run for the 11 car of Steve Grant. I believe he's won a feature event this season in this mod. I believe it may have been as soon as last week. I remember seeing the 11 in Victory Lane. So he's a race winner over this course of this winter season, the AERO88 HOBO Series, and he's trying to chase down one of the best, one of the GOATs, one of the originals of this community, the 73 of Herman Reese with a pretty commanding lead. Grant going to try to reel him in, but that 41 is going to loom large in the 11's mirror. It's down to about 5 car lengths there, Joe, out of 2.
Down the back straightaway, and if you're Steve Grant right now, Phil, and you see that 41 getting closer, you know he's been better throughout this race. It comes into your mind, right? You don't want to admit it sometimes as the race car driver, but 41 started on pole. How hard do you plan on fighting this car, knowing that he might have a little bit of speed, might be able to get away from you pretty quickly if he does get by?
Well, I'll tell you what. If you know he's going to overlap you, relatively quickly with ease, rule of thumb just to kind of out of the groove, let him go. But the race car driver in you is going to be, you know what? I don't want to surrender this spot. I can see the leader up there ahead within a second of me. If I race this guy any harder, I may fall further and further back. So I think the racer in us wants to go for the position. I think if the 41 gets to the 11, I think Steve may just let Josh go on by, but I guess we'll see.
I don't want him to, but I have a feeling when you see that 41 car looming ever so heavier in your rearview mirror. I'm awful with these words sometimes. You're going to think about getting out of the way, but right now it's Steve Grant there in second behind Herman Reese. Steve Urbano's up into the 4th position. Rick Castle just moved up into the top 5 in the 124. Good-looking Crown Royal car there. I got Rod Weston right behind him right now. Napick behind them in 7th.
Well, let me give a little love there to the 19 of Rod Weston. I think you and I agree maybe our favorite series in NR that's been going on for years and years is this HOBO Racing Modified Series. Whalen cars that he won Thursday night during the regular racing season. Well, Rod Weston, he picked up the series championship, and I know he excels on these short tracks, so keep an eye on the 19. He may not be done here tonight, running 6th, and he may have a few more in him.
Well, Rod was putting on a clinic last week, won... I believe, he won our TMP Super Cup Series race 1 week ago that was live here on JTN from IRP. Also, I believe won in this series last week or had a really good result with HOBO Racing in this AERO88 series. So this 19 team, they're putting things together here coming to the end of 2022 and carrying that momentum into next year, into the 2023 race season is going to be crucial for that 19 squad because they run a bunch of different series between HOBO and TMP and, the momentum. It doesn't matter what car, what league, what set of rules you're racing underneath. Momentum and positive vibes do so much. Like you predicted there, Phil, Josh Boyer gets on by Steve Grant. Grant kind of letting that 41 car by, and now Boyer going to be able to set sail and try to find a way to get to the back of Herman Reese with the closing in, at least on 20 laps to go. Should be 22 this time at the line.
I think if Steve was a betting man, I think that was the best thing to do was let the 41 go. Because if you're going to race him side by side, it's going to bring guys like Rubino and even Rick Castle, Rod Weston back in. If you get stuck in the outside lane, yes, it's a short track, but this place can run a lot of times like a super speedway. If you're up high all by yourself in a lane, they're usually going to go right by you. The low side of Richmond is notoriously been the way to go around. So I think the 11 car made the right decision there. Pick my battles, let him go, and let's see if we can't hold on for third here with 20 to go.
So Herman Reese is your leader, inherited the lead under the pit cycle, got a caution. That was the break to get the 73, the primo track position here this evening, has been out in front ever since. Josh Boyer sits in the rear view there in the 2nd position. Was your leader for the first 60 or so laps of this race after being your pole sitter here this evening. Those two are setting up for a colossal battle here with 19 laps to go this time at the line.
Another guy starting to pick his way forward there, Joe. That number 9 car, Jeff Fugate, he has now made his way around Rod Weston, the 9 car, driver 9 as you call him, up to the 6th spot. So if we got a yellow here, which it doesn't feel like we're going to here under 20 to go, but Fugate up to 6th, can he run down Castle and score a top 5 finish, a 2.5 seconds here? It feels like a long way to a place like Richmond, but certainly not impossible if Rick was to make a mistake.
Well, and just get really aggressive with your corner entry right now. We heard a lot of drivers talk about, and maybe you can corroborate the story, a little sluggish on corner exit here tonight. Really hard, a little bit difficult to get the gas back down on exit, kind of with the thought being the car's going to loosen up as the runs go on. So a lot of ground has to be gained on corner entry rather than exit here tonight, if I'm kind of dissecting this correctly without getting behind the wheel of one of these cars.
I found you really had to let that thing roll into the corner and let it gingerly walk through, because if you went in too ultra aggressive and had to jam the brakes in the middle, you may not get off the corner the way you wanted to. And you've heard the old theory, snowplow. I know you're a Michigan guy. You know all about snow. It kind of felt like when you got it in too hot, you were pushing snow. It was a plow.
Trust me, I know there's a lot of snow coming.
Foreman. Oh, I know you know all about snow and cold and.
I know this guy in second knows about making a lot of noise. Josh Boyer there in second led the first half of this race. Herman Reese has led the second half, and they're, again, battle of brewing here with 15 to go from Richmond. That 41 looks a little bit quicker, and it looks like he's taking that more aggressive approach on corner entry, maybe compared to the 73, but Herman Reese doing a good job of, as you said, rolling the corners, taking it nice and easy, keeping that 73 car underneath him, and saving those tires just a little bit.
Well, I think we had that quick yellow there after the 41 got back to the lead lap, and I think he may have come taking 4 freshies. I'm not so sure the leaders did, though.
They did not.
So that may come into bite the 73 in the butt if he didn't pit.
Going to be coming up on some traffic. That's Ron Simpson in the 25. I have to think Ron's going to let these guys on by. Usually a very courteous driver out on track.
Yellow's out, Joe.
Oh, well, never mind. He's not going to have to let him by because there's caution. 19, Rod Weston. Heavy damage on that country time dodge. Mopar in the 24 also around. And, well, Phil, you ready to do a little bit of a shootout?
Oh, are we ever? Let's see what the heck happened here. First of all, to put us under yellow, the 19 looks like he got kind of moved around like a pinball.
Weston had lost a lot of spots, it looks like. And this incident's really going to start down here in turn 1 of this lap. See the 19 way up the track. Here comes Mopar to the bottom. Weston there on the outside. Going to be some contact with Stekenis. Sends the 19 into that outside wall. And then down here into 3 and 4. Stekenis heavy into turn number 3. Get to the back of Mopar. And then it's just almost like a parking lot getting set up here. Ryan Johnson almost with contact. But Weston ends up looking like he's getting the worst end of the stick.
You said that wreck happened in 3, but that really originated down in turn 1. I mean,
yeah.
So Rod, they got together. Rod went way up the racetrack, and I don't think he ever got clear sailing or had the car back underneath him. But I believe the 25 or 24, somebody broke loose right in front of him going into 3, and I think that was just one of those things, a chain reaction from what happened there the corner before.
A 00, Gary Jackson had to take some evasive maneuvers to get around that 19. And kind of set him up for disaster down there in turn 3 as well. Nonetheless,
I'll tell you what, though. If there was any kind of water in the 19 car, it's ready for lemonade now.
got shaken up a little bit?
A little bit.
So, going to be going back with under 10 laps to go. Josh Boyer has taken over the lead. That's why you want the... Wait a minute. No, Herman Reese stayed out.
Yeah, Herman Reese,
oh, my goodness.
Did he stay out?
He must have.
Oh, my goodness. Well, all right. I'm gonna do this reconnaissance work. I want to see if he really didn't stay out.
Well, while you do that, folks at home, again, it's time for our TWB10 to go. Remember, on behalf of all the folks at TWB Technologies, sending a very happy holidays to the folks at home. And if you're in need of some outdoor lights, well, why not head on over to GardenLightsDirect.com. They have you covered from porches to patios to much, much more for all of your outdoor lighting needs. Again, that's GardenLightsDirect.com, GardenLightsDirect.com, GardenLightsDirect.com here on your TWB 10 to go.
So if I have this right, the 73 definitely didn't pit. I don't believe the 11 did. I believe the 9 of Fugate stayed out, and I also believe the 00 of Gary Jackson, he may have stayed out as well. I got to confirm this, but I believe the first car off of pit road amongst the pitters was the 41 of Boyer. This is going to be curious, Joe. What, we're going to restart with maybe about 6 laps to go? Oh, my goodness, is track position going to be a thing? Can Herman Reese, literally snatch this one away?
Well, if you're the 73, you got 3 cars as a buffer back to the 41. You're happy about that if you're Herman Reese right now. You're Steve Grant, you're feeling pretty good, right? You're running 3rd, 4th here before this caution. You're now back up to 2nd. So just try to make sure you finish better than 3rd or 4th. That's all, or at least 3rd or 4th, right? But man, if you're Josh Boyer, you're going to be aggressive here into 1. You're going to be aggressive into 3, and then you're going to do it every single lap until the end of this race, trying to find a way, because the tires don't matter anymore. You're guaranteed to have better tires than these guys, right? Because they've run 30 or so, 40 or so, 50 or so laps, whatever it is, on theirs, and you've got 0. Or virtually 0, at least. So it's an interesting setup here to the end. Herman Reese, your leader. Steve Grant in second. Fugate in the 9 in third. Gary Jackson, Josh Boyer, first car on fresh tires. They're in the 5th position. Had me fooled. I would have thought they were all going to come down pit lane.
Oh, you would think, and if I was in there and I was in the top half dozen, I'd ponder coming in and taking 2 and trying to get track position. I cannot believe these guys stayed out. I almost feel like they're a sitting duck, but if anybody can pull this thing off this way, Herman Reese certainly can. I'll tell you for one thing, I will guarantee Herman is much happier with me up here than he is with me on the racetrack.
He takes the green flag there, gets out to about 2-car length lead. Here comes Josh Boyer trying to take it aggressive, already to the inside of Gary Jackson in the 00, looking for the 4th spot. Steve Rubino going to try to follow him on through. He will. Those 2 guys back up both inside the top 5.
Jackson going to lose another spot as Rick Castle in the 124. He's going to find one.
Oh, Bino into the back of the 124. Around. Rick Castle around here at the start-finish line. Rod Weston going to make some contact. Back up.
Have the race to the win here.
Yeah, racing back to the line here. This could be the end of this thing. Herman Reese with control of it down into turns 3 and 4. Steve Grant going to give it a big send into the corner. He's going to be there to the inside, but it's going to be Herman Reese back to the line. Josh Boyer gets by Jeff Fugate, but I think they made some contact.
Oh, they certainly did. That'll be a very curious replay to watch, but they were getting after it. But I'm starting to think, with a car lap down, that may be the last racing we've seen under green tonight.
I would have to agree with you.
Oh, and Fugate and Boyer having some extracurriculars even afterward.
Oh, well, let's first get you a replay of the caution that brought this thing, or the incident that brought the caution out. You saw it live. You see it again. Jackson there in the 00. Here comes Rick Castle in the 124. Castle going to get on by, but gets a little loosey-goosey, and Bino going to drive into the back of the 124, sends him around. Then we have another incident here coming off of turn number 3 after the guys are already, I believe, under caution at this point. See Bino in the 44 trying to make up some time. Going to get into the back of the 31 as Stekenis sends him around down the back straightaway. Then back up front, the battle for third. A lot of stuff going on here. These two are going to be in a drag race. Fugate gets into the 41 and Josh Boyer sends him around. As you said, some extracurriculars going on here. Between driver 41 and 9, let's go ahead and follow the 41. We're not even going to cut this for you, folks. We're going to go right to it. Here you see Josh Boyer. He's driving. He's maybe a little hot underneath the collar right now. And here comes a bump to the 9. Just a little bit of a door. Oh, and then he spins him.
Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. You may find more.
Oh, no. I'm going to find more?
I believe he might.
All right, well, here comes the 9. Here comes Jeff Fugate. He's driving back. See what he does. Here he comes. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh! Oh, no. Now he's going to stay behind him. And, Mr. League Admin's right behind these two, Phil. That's probably not the position I'd want to be doing shenanigans in.
Shenanigans is the correct word. Because I don't know if there's any other way to analyze that beyond just letting the pictures tell that story. 41 was not happy with the 9, and you think you could see that over the course of the following 2 laps. Guys racing hard. It's the end of the race. They're on TV here tonight on JTN. You got to go after it. You got to get it done. You're racing back for the win of this thing. It happens. Racing happens. I'm sure these guys will be fine. Well, they'll be fine, but it was just all caught up in the heat of the moment. It made for good TV.
Hey. And then you get the interviews after, Phil, and you always got that cattle prod that you just give them a little poke here or there, and then you hope that you get a good answer. You know, it's journalism. It's journalism. 2 to go. Going to end this race under caution. Herman Reese going to take us to the victory. Steve Grant going to finish second. So those 2 guys come out looking like heroes after staying out there. Going to finish 1-2. Josh Boyer, I do believe, will end up getting this 3rd place finish. Don't think there'll be any decisions taken by league officials after the little bit of extracurricular shenanigans there on that first lap under caution.
Have you ever wanted to do that, say to Weaver or to Ricky, any of those guys you caught races with? You ever just want to go turn them afterward?
Yes. And there is definitely a reason I have not entered one of our Team Twansky race cars into many events, especially with leagues that we broadcast, because I don't need to make a fool of myself, Phil. White flag in the air.
And that's why you see me sitting here, because I think of the races I've done on JTN this season. I think I've looked like a fool in just about all of them.
Folks at home, again, cannot thank you enough for tuning in tonight. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe. Again, doing all those things, it really does help support us here on JTN. If this is the last time you're going to be watching us here before the holidays, wishing you happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and hoping that you're able to spend a lot of time with family over the next couple of weeks here before we head into 2023. Again, we're going to be right back here on JTN tomorrow night. TMP Super Cup Series from DuQuoin as the field makes their way through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Behind our Chevrolet Corvette pace car, it's going to be Herman Reese. In that Cadillac, he's floating in luxury in the 73 to a victory tonight from Richmond.
It'll be a very popular victory lane down there to get partying with the 73 crew as he'll tell you, and I'm sure we'll ask him, Richmond among one of his favorite tracks.
So again, folks, stick around. We'll talk with our top 3 finishers. Herman Reese in the 73, Steve Grant in the 11, and Josh Boyer in the 41. Herman brings it around, and he will burn it down or just park it in victory lane. Maybe he'll burn it down in victory lane. Let's see. Nah, he's just going to park it. He just parked it, Phil. He just parked it. He was good.
Subdued.
He liked that race car. Like that race car.
He fixes them for a living, so I believe he probably knows not to break it.
All right, folks. So results incoming. Again, we had a big announcement yesterday. If you missed it, AutoSim 2 going to be coming to you here December 30th on Steam. You can now search for it on the Steam store. Remember, you can also check out the official Discord for the game. Again, that's AutoSim 2. It's a text-based racing game where you can manage a team or just sim 3 years of motorsports, completely user-friendly. You can build your own experience, whatever year of racing you want to, partake in, you can. Again, that's AutoSim 2 available on the Steam store December the 30th. And remember to check out the Discord. It is all linked down underneath the trailer right here on the JoeTowNetwork YouTube channel. So, as we get results, Phil, I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. I don't think we've ever done that, have we?
No, and that's why I said I was trying to get your attention here when I popped down to the room, and I'm like, well, he's muted, and my YouTube's not working and trying to poke at you, and like, well, can't do that there. Maybe you'll see me, and you finally did, because I was having all the world of issues trying to even get your attention.
I was going to say, how long do you think you were there outside the door? Bristol puts shades down. That's kind of the problem. He wants.
I was there 5 minutes, but I bet you I procrastinated a good 10 walking over here. Like, do I really want to do this?
Do I want to really get roped into this?
Just for the hobo guys.
Just for the hobo.
Do it with you specifically. So it was fun. I'm glad you had me aboard here. Let's do some post race.
All right, let's do some post race. Let's go ahead and start with the driver of the number 41, our third place finisher here tonight, Josh Boyer. Josh, I know definitely not the results you wanted to get. What happened there at the end?
Just, wrong place, wrong time. A few times tonight. Had a real strong car, and caution didn't fall our way after that first pit sequence, and had to spend the rest of the race trying to fight to get back, and, tough racing at the end, and happy with third place finish when it's all said and done.
Results on your screens at home now, folks. You talked about it, the pit cycle there at the end. The caution comes out at an opportune time. Was the strategy, though, always to kind of be one of the first to come down pit lane? I do believe, let me check my notes, you were the first of our leaders to pit. Did you just want to be able to get those fresh tires before those guys try to continue to build that gap, knowing that Herman and Steve, I think they were running some pretty good lap times there before that first pit stop?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of that, and I was getting into lap traffic there, that first pit stop, and so I didn't want to get caught up with them too much, and then risk having something happen, having to come in 2 or 3 laps later while in the midst of all those cars. So, kind of chose to come in a couple laps early, and that bit us pretty bad, right? I mean, that put us back in 7th or 8th spot because of all the cars that had not pitted yet when that caution came out. So, just bad luck on our part. We're trying to play it safe. Safe. We could have made it on fuel if had it gone green the rest of the way from that point. So. Sometimes it just that's how it goes.
Josh, tell me about pitting on that last start there. You had run your way all the way back to second, was running Herman down when that yellow came out there late. You came down to get tires. He did not. If you could take that back, would you do that over again and would have stayed out the whole time?
Of course, hindsight, yes. Had we have gone green the last 10 laps or whatever it was, I think we were in good shape. Just this track is always going to have those late cautions, and the cautions breed cautions here especially. But had we stayed green, I think we were in good shape to get Herman there. Had I stayed out, who knows? Everybody else behind me might have pitted, and then we were just sitting ducks from everyone back. So tough strategy call there. I think we made the right choice. It just didn't fall for us tonight.
Well, Josh, a valiant effort to try to get back up to the top of the leaderboard. Falls just short with the caution coming out there at the end. Again, congratulations on a strong third-place showing here tonight. Before we let you go, though, I want to give you the opportunity. You've done this plenty of times. The floor is yours. You know what to do.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. First off, as always, thanks to you for hosting us and broadcasting out tonight. Thanks to Phil for joining the booth there and giving us another analyst for the evening. Thanks to Dad's Root Beer. I've got myself a pack of Dad's yesterday when I was at the store, so I always enjoy a nice cold Dad's Root Beer. And thanks to the Hobo guys, Steve, everybody. We're kind of wrapping up 2020 here, the season as far as the calendar goes. Taking some time off here soon, so thanks to all the guys. Good race, and I do want to just say something out there to the nine. I got myself a little bit ahead of myself there, and I shouldn't have done that. So I apologize to the nine late in the race there. But we always race good, and I let it get to me tonight.
Well, Josh, I think we're glad to hear that. And wanted to ask you one other question. This one has nothing to do with the race. You heading to Arizona in a couple weeks?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
All
I was
right.
actually out there. I was just out there last weekend. We did a little inspection trip out there, check things out down in Tucson, and excited to take the group. I'll be down there a week from tomorrow, so I'm gonna enjoy some time out in relatively warm air out there in Tucson compared to Ohio right now.
Well, he's Arizona Bowl bound. Josh Boyer, he's the driver of the number 41. Josh, again, congratulations on the third place run, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Josh Boyer, driver of the 41, third place finisher here tonight. Let's go ahead and bring in next our second place finisher. He's the driver of the number 11, Team Speedland Chevrolet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Steve Grant. Steve, you got a copy?
Yeah. How's it going?
I mean, it's going pretty good. I mean, you and this 11 team, just putting strong runs together here left and right. How's that feel?
Oh, it always feels good to finish up in the top 5. That's, during the regular season, that's pretty much what we try to shoot for.
Now, Steve, I've gotten to know you over the years, mainly racing as an open setup guy. So to come out here and race on the racetrack with you the way we have here on Sunday nights in this AERO88 series, I've never known you to be much of a fixed setup guru, but you've been out here railing off some really good runs, a runner-up tonight, a win a couple of weeks ago. Talk about this run you've been on.
I just showed up because I thought it would be a fun race. I really like Richmond and the short tracks or intermediate, I guess I should say, like Phoenix and stuff. Those are kind of my favorite tracks to run. So I gave it a shot. The setup was not quite to my par, but it was okay. It was drivable, but I couldn't drive it like Josh, the 41. He kind of got robbed out of that race, and I couldn't even really hang with Herman.
Well, and Steve, you get, I think, a good break there midway through the race. The caution comes out midway through the cycle. It gets you track position up into the second position, I do believe. How crucial was that to kind of changing your strategy through the second half of the race to gain that track position and be up there and, where you ended up finishing?
The first part of the run, I took it a little too easy. I was letting people go, and I was trying to save the tires, and I had plenty of tire at the end of the run. I think we were running in fourth when the caution came out, and I was like, decided to drive it a little bit harder, but when you're not used to a car, it's kind of hard to find that fine line during the race. I think I practiced for like 30 minutes, and I kind of got a basis of it, but it was kind of a tight car if you pushed it a little too hard into the turns.
Well, then obviously there at the end we get the late caution. It changes things. You end up getting a short run. What was the thought process behind staying out there at the end when I think a couple of the guys around you decided to come down pit lane? You ended up having 2 buffer cars behind you to the guys on fresh tires. You saw the 73 also stay out. What was kind of the thought process there? Was it just track position and there's no way this thing goes green to the end? Was it, I feel really good on old tires? What was kind of the thought process there at the end of the race?
Well, even with fresh tires, it's just hard to pass at Richmond. So me and Herman, I think he was on the same game plan as me, is let's just stay out and hope for a caution, you know.
Well, Steve, get the caution there at the end. Get the second place run, a well-deserved run here tonight for you in this 11 team. Again, congratulations, all the momentum that you and this crew have going. Before we let you go, though, I want to give you the opportunity. Got a lot of great partners, friends, and family. Floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
I'd like to thank all the teammates that I race with at Team Speedland, and Steve and Dan for holding this league together through all the stuff that's gone on. It's just a fun place to race at. We usually have really good races here. And you guys too. Thanks a lot for covering all this.
Well, it's always our pleasure, Steve, and always a pleasure to talk with you. Again, congratulations on the second place run. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thanks a lot. Have a good night.
You too. Steve Grant, driver of the number 11, your second place finisher here tonight from Richmond. Let's go ahead and bring in the man of the hour. He's the driver of the number 73. He leads 55 laps on the night. Herman Reese. Herman, you got a copy?
Oh, yeah, brother. Let me tell you, the cream rises to the top, as you saw. I had to do Jeff's steak and eggs there, wanted me to come in as Macho Man.
You got your Slim Jim, right?
Oh, breaking into it right
Okay.
now, brother. Yeah, that was talk about making a couple of good pit calls. I was really mad because as fast as in practice, fast as in happy hour, and completely screwed up qualifying. And so I had to start a little bit further back than I wanted. It's so hard to pass here. And Josh has basically walked the dog on us there. And I had to make a strategy call, and for once it paid off, where I stayed out to run the gas out of it and got those guys all behind. I mean, we were top 3 car, and what a fun race. What a good race. It started on last Tuesday. We ran the Cup Series here, and I complained that I hated this place and I never run good, and I won that race. And that was what I said after I won the night. I said, I hate this place. It's just not one of my better tracks.
I'll confirm this through the league email. Herman did say, I absolutely hate Richmond. I think he's full of crap, really, but he showed us again.
It's just not one of my better tracks, and I just got fortunate. And then right there, I think, you know, in hindsight, it's always 20/20, and Josh, I still felt he was the fastest car. He pitted there, and like he said to me, he said, there's no right or wrong. I think if he stays out, well, if we don't get that last caution, he probably wins it. But if he stays out there, he might have had a better shot. So it was, you know, I did the math, and I was like, well, 8 laps to go, and we go green here. We get 1 caution. It's going to be over. And sure enough, it played out perfectly. How about that?
I mean, it's always, would you call it a Christmas gift? I mean,
quite possibly. I've been struggling over the winter. I had a lot of bad finishes, and I'm trying to get this, my computer and wheel situation. I'm trying to upgrade for a season now with this Fanatec wheel, but this, once again, this Thomas, you know, Enterprises wheel, just, it's hard to get away from something. The thing is 25 years old. It's older than some of the guys we're racing.
I think because you won the Cup title last season, right? I think.
No, I lost to Caleb in the at Phoenix, but I've 3 straight truck series, and I've been in the top 4 of the Cup Series since its inception. You know, and 5 wins in the Cup. I mean, I think we won 14 or 15 times last year with this wheel.
That's what I'm saying. I remember you saying that it was going to be a difficult transition. So, well, you know, hey, nothing wrong with going with what works. Another victory.
Well, yeah, these other guys, you notice they've all stepped up their game. They've gone out and picked up these wheels. So now they're making me I told Steve Rubino that I was going to have to pick it up now. So we purchased a new rig, and it's on its way. And the next time we see it, we should be dialed in.
So I'll tell you what, if this guy gets any faster than he is now on a normal night, and he'll bust my balls every night we race, I'll come in, I'll qualify 19th, and he'll say, Phil, you qualified where you normally qualify. Herman, do you need to get any faster?
Well, you always do. It's the other guys that push you. I mean, if we came in here, I say this all the time. If I played tennis, if you and I played tennis every day, we'd only get as good as the other guy. When these other guys come in and push the envelope, I mean, I keep a lot of notes through the years, and the speeds that we're running now, I would have never imagined possible. Let's be honest. In March, this will be a 20-year anniversary for this lost art here.
I've got a lot of laps, a lot of races, a lot of notes, and a ton of setups. And I'll tell you what, I've accumulated setups over time. I've got a couple, I think, with your name on it. I'm going to bet you these are probably almost 20 years old. And I've put into try myself. And I don't know how you guys do it. You guys can drive these race cars so fast, so loose, and hold on to them. I don't know where you get the skill from, but I admire you, brother. It's cool to watch you come in and get my butt kicked by you guys night after night.
And then I go over some other places and some guys kick my butt, and I'm like, how do they do that?
Isn't that's always the case too? I got a question about that. I got a more personal question for you.
Right.
What is the file like? Because everyone has their own naming conventions. I feel like I've had driven a couple of your setups because Phil's floated some stuff my way before.
Yeah, I usually put everything it'll usually say HAR 59 on it, or
yep,
HAR.
Okay.
It'll say HAR, and some of them I don't, but I usually leave notes, and Keith does a lot of sets where he puts the date on it, and I just know his sets. And that I told you last time, the transition, I've run without a teammate for a lot of years, and when they approached me, and I felt like for all four of us it was a very positive year. I mean, what a great year we had, and fun. A lot of fun, not just winning. I mean, the racing was fun, but the group of guys, I think, have gotten even closer this year than in years past. We always have trouble. You get 30-something egos in there, you're going to have issues. But for the most part, with a lot of the leagues I've run in, I would say that this year was one of the most fun years in my. See, I started racing online in '93 or '94, so probably I would say this is one of the best years we've ever had.
I completely second what you just said. The league, since July, since I've come back, the tightness of this league, the communication, the way we all race each other on the track, everybody always giving and taking, and we're drivers. We get aggressive on it. We'll get after it. But I'll tell you what, end of the day, take this league compared to other leagues. There's no other place I'd call home, and I'm glad I get a guy like you, Herman, to learn some of this stuff from.
I mean, and the one thing about this league, and there's a couple others that have this, is on our Monday nights, the veteran guys come in there, share setups, share information, advice. I've ridden with guys and like, all right, here's what you're doing wrong. I've gone to guys' houses here locally over the years and then shown them, because sometimes you just have to show them. And I watch replays a lot. There's been times where I'm missing. I'll go and watch somebody else and try and pick up. And you're constantly learning, or at least trying to. It's just competitive. I mean, you want to have fun, but you kind of want to be competitive. You don't want to be, not enjoying it and then feeling down. It's like going and playing golf and being the worst golfer in the four. You at least want to birdie a hole or two.
I completely agree. On a Monday night, if you need something to be done, testing over here at Hobo, Herman, you're always there. You're there all night long. You're always here to answer questions and help, give ideas. How's your car feeling? Try this, adjust this. And that's what this community needs. That's why I think it's been around for coming on 20 years now. We all need to band together.
I actually this year really worked on using some real life experience, because what can we do after 20 years? We've just about done everything. So now you got to start thinking outside this box that we've been in for years. And I did. And actually blew up leading the cup race at Charlotte after taking a pole, and all three of my teammates ran my setup, and one of them won, and it's like nothing like anybody's running. Just crazy crap, nothing hokey, just using my mind, using real life stuff that I've learned, and I was telling these guys earlier, some of the Xfinity stuff on our team, we're going to be a 3-car program this year. We're going to go back to the way with the rear end changes, we're going to have the caster the way it used to be back in 03 and 04, to get back to closer to what a regular race car was back then. And some of that stuff transfers in. You got to remember, the guys that designed the sim, they were racing engineers, and they tried to put all the racing knowledge into this thing so you could just transfer right over. And they wanted it to be a sim. They didn't want it to be a game. And thus iRacing was born from this. And, all the drivers are over there now too. I find it to be a much smoother transition going from this sim into the iRacing controllability and a lot of stuff. Now, the setup part over there is not, the lingo that they use is not necessarily what we would use at the shop in a lot of cases, but kind of have an understanding of it. And that helps too.
Well, everything constantly evolving and constantly getting better. Herman, again, congratulations on the win here tonight. Before we let you go, though, want to give you the opportunity. I think you know what I'm getting at. The floor is yours, buddy.
10-4. Yeah, I want to say thanks to you guys and happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you for this year, for what you guys did for us. Made it exciting. And it's been a hard year on the Rubinos, and I'm glad that they're, still with us, healthy and going strong, and putting this league on for us. We've had so much fun. I don't know right now. I change my life plans around Tuesdays and Sundays, believe it or not. And everybody, my friends and girlfriend, know that that's the night that's set aside for these guys. And it's just been so enjoyable. And I want to tell all my drivers out there, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And looking forward to 2023. And hopefully everybody has a good, safe holiday. And again, thank you guys for putting on this show.
Here. Same to you, boss. Thank you.
Joe, I don't know if you know or not, there's a lot of days I'll put JoeTowNetwork up on the big screen at the shop, and the boys sit during break or lunchtime. We'll watch the races replay. Only when I do good, of course.
Well, only, right? That of course. I love. Thank you. That makes me. You just gave me the best present of all, Herman. You just gave me the best present of all. But again, buddy, congratulations again on the win here tonight. I cannot thank you enough for your time here after this one. Go celebrate. Make sure you go show this race off to the boys back at the shop.
I will.
And we look forward to talking with you in the new year.
All right. Take care, guys.
Herman Reese, driver of the number 73, your race winner here tonight. Well, Phil, that's going to wrap up our coverage. We're the only two left here at the racetrack at this point. 73 team, they got the car loaded. They're out of here. Everyone's out of here. But a fun little race tonight from Richmond.
It certainly was, and it was everything I think it was built up to be. A good race, a lot of clean racing. Didn't see a little yellow. A couple of wrecks at short track racing at its best, but it was fun. And thanks for letting me come play along, Joe. This is my Christmas present to the league here. I know I've been running really good recently, and I just kind of struggle to hold on. So I said, you know what the heck? I seen you were by yourself, and figured, hey, throw my hat in the ring. And I'm just hoping my other buddies don't see this and think I'm coming back full time, because it's just not going to happen. But this was fun.
Well, I won't tell them if you don't, Phil. And again, cannot thank you enough for coming up here, lending your voice, lending your knowledge. And I think I learned a couple things along the way that I'm going to try to apply as we keep on keeping on here on JTN. Remember, folks, we're going to be live tomorrow night. Weaver going to join me up in the booth from DuQuoin Dirt Track Racing TMP Super Cup Series at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Also might have an event Tuesday night. And then going to have a special video later on throughout the week. Keep your eyes on that. It rhymes with Oops All Crashes, because it is Oops All Crashes for the Maverick Cup Series in 2022. So that video coming this week. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled on our social media and here on YouTube. Remember, you can follow us at JoeTowNetwork on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, right here on YouTube.com, or also at twitch.tv/JoeTowNetwork. Nice and easy for you. But again, folks, a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Whatever you celebrate, we hope that you have the time to spend it with family, to relax over these next 2 weeks and get yourself reset for 2023. We know we are here at JTN as well. For all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for our special guest, Phil Lacasse, I've been Joe Towanski. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're going to be 3 wide coming to the checker. Never mind, they're going to be... Turn 4 into the trioval, Whitehill and through the grass. It's going to be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
Off the line and a wrecking behind him. Good cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down. It doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona. Jack Healy coming to the